What's up, man? How you do? It's a nice shirt. I like the t-shirt vibe you got going.
Guess
Did you get my text about dressing it?
my phone's dead, so... Okay, guys, welcome back to 2 Weeks. So today we're going to be cooking you guys this... I guess pasta carbonara.
Awesome pasta dish. Yeah, it's going to be really good. This is actually going to be our third and final episode from the Perfect Egg Cookbook. We're really excited to bring that to you today. We'll talk more about the cookbook here in just a couple seconds. But yeah, this dish is going to be really kind of cool. It's going to be a little bit different than the other two dishes that you've seen us made so far. Yeah. It's going to be very much like an actual meal, I think, compared to like a later in the day meal, dinner type meal compared to the other stuff.
Something you could have made for Valentine's Day, but...
It's a little late at this point. I think, unfortunately, you might have... Next year, you'll be better prepared. Yeah, I subscribe. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to go cook.
So the first ingredient... Say hello to the police. So the first ingredient that we're going to use today is black pepper.
And then salt.
Then some tomatoes.
Parmesan cheese.
Butter.
Noodles.
Pancetta.
And then 4 eggs.
The first thing that we really need to do with this recipe today is separate out 3 yolks from the whites. We did this by using a grated spoon, placing the whole egg onto that spoon, shaking it side to side, and probing the whites down through the grates in the spoon. We did mess up once here, but it really wasn't that big of a deal because the recipe does call for 1 full egg, so that's what we used for that portion of the recipe. Once we've separated out those 3 yolks from the whites, we're going to add them to a medium-sized mixing bowl with the full egg. Then we're going to add in 3/4 cups of Parmesan, half teaspoon of pepper, and then a half teaspoon of salt. Once all that's in there, we're going to go ahead and whisk it together.
And now as you let the mixture sit, take your pot, fill it up 3/4 of the way full, and add 1 teaspoon of salt. Once it's boiling, now it's time to add the pasta. The pasta should take you about 6 to 8 minutes, but make sure it's still firm because we're going to be cooking it further later.
While that pasta is boiling on the stove, we're going to go ahead and get some other parts of the dish ready for sauteing. We're going to go ahead and dice up a generous amount of tomatoes. You don't have to really do too much here. We don't want the tomatoes to overpower the taste of the sauce. Also, we're going to go ahead and begin to cut up and dice our pancetta. I find it easier here to use a pair of meat scissors if applicable, simply because the meat is really slippery and we don't want to accidentally cut a finger here while making this dish. So good pair of meat scissors is highly recommended for cutting up that pancetta.
Now once everything is diced, it's time for you to start sauteing the pancetta. So now what you want to do is you want to get a medium-sized saucepan over medium heat on the stove. Spread butter around, and then once the butter is melted, it's time for you to start adding the tomatoes and the pancetta. Now they're going to be in there for about 8 to 10 minutes long. You want to make sure you stir it around a bit, and you want to wait till you see the pancetta start to turn into a golden brown. And once the pancetta is fully golden brown, now it's time for you to add the mixture.
Once the noodles have all risen to the surface and they're done boiling, go ahead and drain that water. Take that pasta water and add it to our egg mixture from earlier in the video. We're going to whisk that together and you'll see that it gets to a pretty liquid consistency.
And now since the pasta is fully drained, what you want to do is you want to add the pasta to the saute. You want to spread around the pancetta and the tomatoes all around the pasta in order for the mixture to then be poured in.
Once your noodles and saute are ready, you're going to go ahead and add in the sauce. The way I found easier to do this is just take it right from the mixing bowl and pour it in slowly, making sure to give a generous coating to the entire saute pan and the noodles inside. Once that's done, you're going to let that sit and simmer for about 3 minutes until the sauce thickens in its consistency.
And then once you're finished with that, it's time to plate.
So while we watch this plating video, John and I are going to talk about it here a little bit. We really had the idea of allowing this to be a pretty simple dish. We did have the idea of possibly adding a garnish, but we decided that we're going to keep it pretty plain and simple for this one.
Yeah, and what you can do, though, to top off the dish, is you can add a small amount of salt, some black pepper, and, of course, a generous amount of Parmesan cheese.
What we did here is there's a small circular divot in the middle of our plate, and that's where we placed the majority of our pasta. Then we went through and taking just a regular paper towel, wiped down the outside of the plate to make it look as clean as possible.
And then, once the plating is done, it's time to serve and eat.
listen up. We gotta speak to you. Okay, this is the third time we've brought this book to you. Here's this dude. He's using this book too. He likes it. He bought it. All right. This is The Perfect Egg by Terry Lynn Fisher and Jenny Park. If you are watching this third episode and you still haven't bought the book, guys, come on, you're slacking. It's gonna be linked down below. Look. All jokes aside, this is an awesome cookbook for any level of cook. It's got a whole bunch of great recipes in it. Any time of the day, any occasion, any size meal. Perfect Egg by Terry Lynn Fisher and Jenny Park has got you prepared. This is our third video for it, and John wants to say a few words.
Just buy it, all right? But also, we wanted to thank the authors. You guys wrote a wonderful cookbook. You guys have given us great memories,
100%.
great food, and we just learned a heck of a lot. So, this is a big shout out to the authors and to the book, and just thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
We'll link as much of their stuff as we can find below, so you guys can go check them out and the awesome stuff that they're doing. Terry Lynn Fisher, Jenny Park, from both of us here at 2 Leagues.
Thanks.
Thanks.